After the trials of thirst, hunger, and battle, the people pressed forward in their wilderness journey until at last, they arrived at the mountain where God had first spoken to Moses from the burning bush. 3 months to the day after leaving Egypt, Israel camped in the wilderness before Mount Sinai, Exodus 19, 1-2. This was no ordinary encampment. Here God would reveal his covenant, establish his law, and bind himself to his people in a way unseen in all history. Moses ascended the mountain, and the Lord called to him, saying, "You yourselves have seen what I did to the Egyptians, and how I bore you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. Now therefore, if you will indeed obey my voice and keep my covenant, you shall be my treasured possession among all peoples, for all the earth is mine." Exodus 19, 4-5. Israel was redeemed not only from slavery but for covenant. They were called to be a holy nation, a kingdom of priests, God's own possession. Exodus 19:6. When Moses brought these words to the elders, the people responded with one voice, "All that the Lord has spoken we will do." Exodus 19:8. Their cry of obedience echoed through the camp, though their hearts would later waver. Still, God was preparing them to understand what it meant to live as his people. To meet the Lord, preparation was required. The people were commanded to consecrate themselves, wash their garments, and abstain from defilement, for on the third day the Lord would descend upon the mountain. Exodus 19:10-11. Boundaries were set around the mountain. None could touch it lest they die, for the holiness of God was not to be trifled with. Exodus 19:12-13. On the morning of the third day the mountain quaked. Thunder roared, lightning flashed, and a dense cloud descended upon Sinai. A trumpet blast grew louder and louder, shaking the camp. The people trembled, standing at the foot of the mountain, while Moses led them out to meet God. Exodus 19:16-17. Smoke billowed like a furnace, for the Lord had descended in fire. The whole mountain shook violently, declaring the majesty of his presence. Exodus 19:18. Then the Lord called Moses up into the cloud, commissioning him as mediator between himself and the people. From Sinai, God would speak words that would echo through eternity. His commandments, his law, his covenant. Israel was no longer merely a nation freed from chains. They were on the verge of becoming God's covenant people, bound to him in faith and obedience. At Sinai, awe filled the camp. The God who had humbled Pharaoh now revealed himself in holiness and glory. The people who had once cried out under slavery now stood before the living God, summoned not just to freedom, but to covenant responsibility. The wilderness had led them not into emptiness but to the mountain of encounter, where heaven touched earth in thunder and fire. Please don't forget to share this video, like it, and subscribe for more.